Okay, so hello students. So today naman, what we're going to discuss is about quadratic equation or solving quadratic equation by factoring. This one. Okay. So, bakit ko to ipinakita sa inyo is because para ma-review nyo or this is part of the review kasi itong mga topic na to ang importante sa pag-solve ng quadratic equation using factoring. At least ma-recall nyo ano yung mga factoring or ways to factor polynomials. Okay? So first, I have here the common monomial factor. If we are going to use common monomial factor, example dito, I have here 18v cubed minus 30v squared. You have to get yung common monomial factor ng dalawang terms na ito, which is 6v squared. And then, ilalabas mo siya as its common monomial factor. And yung matitira dun sa loob ng parenthesis ay yung sagot kung saan i-divide mo itong 18v cubed dito sa kanilang common factor. So we have 3v minus, since negative or minus yung operation ng dalawang term na to, gagayahin mo lang, and then 30v squared divided by 6v squared is equal to 5. So, ganyan yung common monomial factor. Next is the quadratic trinomial. So, ito ginagamit natin to by trial and error. Isa to sa mga factoring polynomial lesson na tinuro sa inyo ng grade 8. So, but this time, itong equation na binigay sa inyo cannot be solved easily by trial and error alone. So, anong dapat mong gawin? You always need to analyze the you always need to analyze the equation bago mo isolve. Kung ang direction ay solving quadratic equation by factoring, then stick ka lang dun sa factoring. But you have to deal with several factoring polynomial style para ma-solve mo yung equation. Kagaya nitong example na to, ang unang dapat gawin dito is to get their common monomial factor, which is 2. Kasi kung sa ganitong state nila, mahihirapan kang isolve siya using trial and error alone. Okay? So, you have to get the common monomial factor, which is 2, and then i-divide mo yung bawat term, yung original equation, yung tatlong term na yan sa 2, and you will get 4x squared plus 3x minus 10. Dito, mas madali mo na siyang mapafactor using trial and error. So, you have 2x plus 5 and another 2x minus 2. Pag sinolve mo to, etong dalawang binomial na using FOIL method, magkakaroon ka ng sagot na 4x squared plus 3x minus 10. Okay? Next is the difference of 2 square. 2 squares. So, if you have a squared minus b squared, ang factor niyan is dalawang sum and difference of two binomial. You have A plus B, quantity A minus B. Again, if you're going to factor A squared minus B squared, your factor is equal to quantity A plus B and quantity A minus B. Okay? Example, if you have 25y squared minus 9, so you can extract 25 with its square root, which is 5, and the square root of y squared is y. The square root of 9 is 3. Uulitin mo lang sila, tilalagay mo sa parenthesis, and then, ang kanilang operation, yung una is addition, yung pangalawa is subtraction. Pwede mo rin naman siyang isulat the other way. So, 5y minus 3 and quantity 5y plus 3. Pareho lang yan. Pareho lang tama. Next, we have the perfect square trinomial. I hope ma-review nyo itong lesson na to since na-take up nyo to ng grade 8 para maintindihan nyo. And I have here an example, but hindi ko na ipopokus kasi baka humaba tayo. But still, merong steps kung paano kunin yung factor ng perfect square trinomial. If hindi ako nagkakamali, itinuro ko to sa inyo ng grade 8 kayo. So, example, if I have 9p squared minus 24pr plus 16r squared, so you're going to find the factor. Ang factor niya is 3p minus 4r and another 3p minus 4r. If you're going to use FOIL method, in this answer, ang lalabas ay si 9p squared minus 24pr plus 16r squared. So, I have here another example. Paki-solve or check nyo kung paano naging 2x plus 3y and 2x plus 3y based dun sa lesson ng perfect square trinomial when you were on grade 8. Okay? So, I have here the sum and difference of 2 cubes. Paki-check nyo yan. And factoring by grouping. Okay? So, let's move on with our discussion. Says I already said that our topic is solving quadratic equation using factoring. So, meron tayong mga procedure. First procedure is for you to transform, ita-transform mo daw yung equation in standard form. You should remember yung ax squared na tinatawag nating standard format or standard form plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Ito ang unang step sa pagsosolve ng quadratic equation using factoring. Always make sure na yung iyong problem or yung iyong equation ay naka-set up na sa quadratic equation in standard form. Kung hindi pa siya naka-set up, gagawa ka ng ways para ma-set up siya in standard form at hindi mo siya mamadaliin, kundi isusolve mo siya or better, if-factor mo siya dun sa mga diniscuss kong review, kani-kanina lang, para makagawa ka, para ma-set up mo yung na-solve mo in a standard form. And then, second is factor the quadratic equation once na naka-standard form na siya. Then, apply the zero product property by setting each factor in 0. The fourth is to solve the result And the fifth one ay pwede mo siyang, or i-check mo siya. Okay? Not pwede, but i-check mo talaga siya for you to know kung tama ang sagot mo. I have here an example. I have 2x is equal to 15 minus x squared. Ang unang procedure ay to write the equation in standard form. Ito, susundin mo yung format. So, what are you going to do? So, dapat ang nauuna is the quadratic term, which is the ax squared, followed by the linear term, which is the bx, and followed by the constant equals to 0. Kapag tiningnan mo yung example mo, ang quadratic term, eto, quadratic term. Eto si linear term at eto si constant. Dapat daw nasa kaliwa siya. So, you need to transpose negative x squared to the odd across the equal sign o dun sa kabilang, ililipat natin siya sa kabilang parte ng equal sign. So, if ililipat mo si negative x squared, kasama yung sign ha, hindi lang si x squared. Kasama yung sign. Okay? So, ililipat mo siya, magiging x squared. Nilipat mo, hindi mo tinanggal yung sign, iniba mo yung sign kasi nag-jump siya sa equal sign, lumipat siya ng posisyon. So, you have your linear term, 2x, mananatili lang siya, just copy, plus 2x. And then, yung constant mo, ililipat mo rin ng position, itatranspose mo siya sa kaliwa. So, you're going to change the sign by negative 15. Okay? Is equal to 0. Ngayon, pwede ka nang mag-factor. So, ito yung second step. So, you're going to factor. Ito ay trial and error. So, bakit? Si 15, negative 15 ay may factor. Anong mga factor niya? Okay. 5 times 3. Positive 5 times positive 3 ay magiging negative 15? Hindi. Magiging negative 15 lang siya kung either positive 15 ay positive 5 at negative 3 ang factor mo or negative 5 multiply by positive 3 ang factor mo. So, pili ka sa dalawang yan ang factor na kapag inad mo silang dalawa, ang magiging sagot ay 2. Yung ito, 2. So, probably ang sagot dyan is positive 15 at saka negative 3. Pag pinag-add mo si positive 15 plus negative 3, dahil magkaiba siya ng sign, magsusubtract tayo, ang sagot niyan is 2 pag nagsubtract ka at kukunin ni 2 ang sign ng pinakamataas na number which is 5, kaya positive. So, ito yung factor mo. Kaya, meron tayong factor na x plus 5 at x minus 3. Yung third procedure mo daw is to apply the zero product property. I-equate mo yung dalawang factor is equal to 0. Okay? X minus 3 is equal to 0 and x plus 3 is equal to 0. And the fourth one is to solve for the value of x. Paano mo isosolve? So, you're going to leave x dito sa kabilang side. Tingnan nyo ha. X plus 5 is equal to 0. So, kung iiwan mo lang si x sa kabilang side ng equal sign, ililipat mo si 5. So, equals negative 5. Okay? Hindi ko na sinulat yung 0 since 0 naman siya. Kasi negative 5 plus 0, okay? Negative 5 pa rin ang sagot. So, ito yung una mong real roots. Okay? Ito yung sinasabing x sub 1 sa yung module. Pero sinusulat lang natin siya as x is equal to negative 5, which is your real roots. Okay? Next mo is x minus 3 is equal to 0. Iiwan mo ulit si x sa kaliwang side at ililipat mo yung constant sa kabilang side. Makes you x is equal to 3 or sinusulat din natin siya ng x is equal to positive 3. Sometimes, hindi na natin sinusulat yung plus kasi most likely kapag ka positive, sinusulat lang natin siya as number. Kaya every time na makakita ka ng equation na number lang, ibig sabihin nun positive when it deals with algebra. Okay? So, ito, other way ng solution. Pwede nyo itong pag-aralan. Titigan, I'll give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds just to snapshot or screenshot para mapag-aralan nyo. Okay, so paano ang checking? Tagaya rin nung sa ibang checking natin, yung iba pa nating nauna nating lesson, kunin mo yung original equation. Tapos, dito, sa original equation, isubstitute mo yung unang real roots or real solution. X is equal to negative 5. So, 2, open and close parenthesis, ilalagay mo doon si negative 5, which is the value of your x. Yan. Ayan. Is equal to 15. 15 minus x. Dito, mostly, meron akong mga nagpapaturo sa akin, sa inyo. Dito siya nagkakamali. Ang x is negative 5, so ang ilalagay mo sa loob ng parenthesis ay may kasama pa ring sign, which is negative 5. Hindi mo pwedeng i-disregard yung negative sign kung yun ang nakuha mong real roots. Okay, pasok mo siya sa loob ng parenthesis, and then, lagyan mo ng exponent. Kasi naka-exponent siya. Okay? Yan. So, solve. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. 15 minus negative 5, sabi doon, negative 5 squared. Ibig sabihin lang na sinasabi niyan sa'yo na i-multiply mo si negative 5 ng 2 beses. So, negative 5 times negative 5 sa multiplication ng sign number, kapag pareho ang sign, nagiging positive. Okay? Nasa loob pa rin tayo ng parenthesis, ha? Positive na si 25. So, kapag sinolve mo siya, pag tinanggal mo yung parenthesis, magiging 15 minus 25. 15 minus 25 is negative 10. So, therefore, yung sagot mo na negative 5 as your first real solution or first real roots ay tama dahil balance ang iyong equation. Next, you have x is equal to positive 3 or x is equal to 3. So, papalitan mo lang yung value ni x, 2, open and close parenthesis, ipasok mo dun si value ni x, which is positive 3, is equal to 15 minus dito, positive. Pero pwede mo rin itong i-omit kahit hindi mo to isulat. So, eto na, pwede mo rin itong hindi isulat kung positive. Either way, pwede mong isulat or pwede hindi mo isulat. Okay? So, 2 times 3 is 6 is equal to 15 minus, minultiply mo sa sarili niya kasi naka-exponent siya ng 2. So, 3 times 3 is 9. Pagka tinanggal mo yung parenthesis, 15 minus 9, ang sagot mo is 6. Balance yung equation, therefore, tama ang sagot mo. Okay? So, ang conclusion, 2x is equal to 15 minus x squared has two real roots. X is equal to negative 5 and x is equal to positive 3. Okay? So, move on tayo sa next problem. So, again, analyze mo yung iyong equation. Okay? Hindi pa siya naka-standard format. So, again, susundin mo yung standard format na nauuna ang quadratic term, sinusundan ng linear term, followed by the constant is equal to 0. Nasa kabila na or nasa kaliwa na yung quadratic term, so copy mo lang siya. Okay? Yung linear term dapat malipat sa kaliwa, so itatranspose mo siya, susunod mo dito kay quadratic term, plus, syempre mababago yung sign niya, magiging positive na siya, 8x. Si constant kailangan din nasa kaliwa, kaya itatranspose mo siya, ililipat mo, so you have negative 10 is equal to 0. Okay, naka standard form na siya. Okay? So, ngayon, para mas madali, kung nahirapan kang i-factor dahil may 2 sa quadratic term, get their common monomial factor. Anong common sa kanila? Si 2. And then, ilabas mo siya, and then divide each term into 2x squared divided by 2. Sagot mo is x squared. Plus 8x divided by 2, you have 4x. And negative 10 divided by 2, you have negative 5. Okay? So, meron ka nang nakitang isosolve mo using factoring or trial and error. So, get the factor of negative 5. Ano yung factor ni negative 5 na kapag ka inad mo yung dalawang factor na yon or yung dalawang number na yon, ang sagot is 4. So, most likely, dapat ang pinakamataas niya ay positive para maging positive ang sagot. So, you have 5 multiplied by negative 1. Ito yung factor niya. 5 multiplied by negative 1, ang sagot is negative 5. Pag pinag-add ko naman, 5 plus negative 1, dahil magkaiba sila ng sign, ito'y negative, ito'y positive, magsusubtract yan. So, 5 minus 1, you have 4, at ang kukunin niyang sign ay yung pinaka-mataas na value ng number. Ang 5 ang pinaka-mataas na value at positive siya, kaya magiging 4x. So, anong factor mo? Kokopyahin mo pa rin si common monomial. Ang factor mo is x plus 5 and x minus 1. So, nasa second procedure na tayo. The third procedure is to apply zero product property. Apply mo daw yung factor na x plus 5 is equal to 0, inequate mo na siya sa 0, and x minus 1 is equal to 0. So, again, kopyahin mo lang siya, and then, find the value of x. Iwanan mo si x sa kaliwa, at ilipat mo yung value ni 5 sa kanan. That makes you negative 5 kasi naglipat tayo. So, x minus 1 is equal to 0. Iwan mo lang ulit si x, ililipat mo si value ni 1, magiging positive 1. So, ito yung other way kung paano siya isolve. Okay. So, tingnan nyo siya, screenshot nyo para maaralan yung maigi, much better kung nag-notes kayo habang nanonood kayo ng video na to. Okay? So, upon checking, ito yung magiging sagot natin. So, ito yung ating original equation. Laging gagamitin sa pag-check yung original equation. And then, substitute nyo yung nakuha nyong real roots or real solution. This one is by negative 5. Kapag ka-chinek nyo siya, balance. Therefore, yung x nyo ay tama. If yung other real roots nyo or real solution nyo, which is x is equal to positive 1, kapag isinubstitute nyo sa original equation, dapat balanse ang equation. Pag balanse, tama. So, ang conclusion, 2x squared is equal to negative 8x plus 10, meron siyang dalawang real roots or real solution, which is x is equal to negative 5 and x is equal to 1 or positive 1.